So recently I've released my one quarterback strategy video and the response has been incredible. Thank you so much. I mean, over 115,000 views in less than a week. However, a lot of you guys are asking about SuperFlex. You're saying I'm in a SuperFlex format. What about me? I keep getting comment after comment of people asking for a strategy for SuperFlex leagues. No, like seriously, you guys seem to really want this video. So SuperFlex gang, it's time for you to show me how many of you guys are out there. The #1 strategy video for one quarterbacks is already at 4.8 thousand likes and counting. How many can this one get to? I honestly do not think you guys can beat the one quarterback gang out there, but I'm gonna give you the opportunity here. Show me that you're out there. Hit the like button, subscribe to the video. I wanna see if the SuperFlex revolution is starting in 2025, all right? Okay, so this video is for you. My official SuperFlex strategy for 2025 is called Double QB plus BPA Smash. Yeah, that's right. All right, we're calling out plays here. Here's the good news. You can use this strategy at any point of the draft board. So if you're at the 101 all the way down to the 112, it's relevant for every single pick. At the end of the video as well, I'm gonna show you examples of how you can pull off the strategy at any point of the draft board. So let's look at the strategy and let's break it down almost kind of round by round, okay? So double QB plus BPA smash. In round one, we wanna go either an elite quarterback or an elite running back / wide receiver. Ideally, in my opinion, wide receiver based off of my previous hit rates that we've talked about, okay? But why do I say either or? Well, it really depends on where you are on the draft board. For example, if you're drafting at the back end of the board, you don't want to force a Patrick Mahomes over a name like a Jamar Chase, a CeeDee Lamb, a Bijan Robinson, right? You want the draft board to fall to you. So in the first round, if Lamar Jackson, if Josh Allen, if these guys are available, smash it. But if not, don't be afraid to pass on quarterback in round one. But here's the deal. You look at rounds 2, 3, and 4. If we can put those up all together. What I want you to do, and what I will be doing in my SuperFlex drafts, in the first 4 rounds, you need to get 2 quarterbacks that you can rely on, but don't force it. So in my ideal world, through 4 rounds, I'm probably gonna have a lineup that looks like 2 quarterbacks, a running back, and a wide receiver, okay? Now, from rounds 5 to 9 onwards, we're gonna build out our running back and wide receiver rooms. And then from round 10 onwards, we're gonna take upside swings and we're gonna look at a late round tight end. You should not be prioritizing tight ends in your SuperFlex formats, and I'll tell you why in a second, but I am more than positive that you should not be prioritizing tight ends. Okay, so you might be asking me the question, why 2 quarterbacks in the first 4 rounds? Why do I need to do that? Well, there's a couple factors at play. Number 1, quarterbacks score the most points of any position every single year, but now you're in a league where you start 2 of them per week. Okay, in the last 2 years, on average, top 12 quarterbacks scored 19.6 points per game. In that span, on average, top 12 running backs scored 17.7, about 2 points per game less. And in that same span, top 12 wide receivers scored 17.9, about 1.7 points per game less. Oh, and by the way, that's only if you're in a league that just gives 4 points for a passing touchdown. That doesn't account for 6-point passing touchdown leagues, which by the way, my SuperFlex leagues are 6-point passing touchdown leagues. Play in whatever you prefer. There's not a wrong way to do it. But if you look at 6-point passing touchdown leagues, in the last 2 years, on average, top 12 quarterbacks scored 22.9 points per game. If you compare that to the running backs, they're scoring over 5 points per game less than the quarterbacks top 12, right? If you compare that to wide receivers, 5 points per game less on the dot. Simply put, if you don't walk away from the draft with 2 quarterbacks that you can rely on early on, you're in an uphill battle. That's just the reality. All right, second reason why we're going 2 quarterbacks early, the fall off in points per game from the top end quarterbacks is significant. For example, in 4-point passing touchdown leagues, the fall off from top 12 to top 24 is 4 points per game. But even more deadly if you're looking at a 6-point passing touchdown league, right? In the 6-point passing touchdown league, the fall off is 5.5 points per game from top 12 to top 24. That doesn't mean that you're going to guarantee get a top 12 guy if you go 2 quarterbacks early, but obviously ADP is getting better. We're getting smarter. You want to prioritize that quarterback position. Okay. If you look at the fall off from a 6-point passing touchdown league, 5.5 points per game, like we said, fall off is not unique to the quarterback position, but it's by far the worst drop of any position. From running backs, top 12 to top 24, it's 3.8 points per game. For wide receivers, from top 12 to top 24, it's 3.2 points per game. Okay. All right. Third point, quarterbacks that are worth starting are incredibly difficult to find. If you're in a 12-team SuperFlex league and everyone's starting 2 quarterbacks per week, that is 24 quarterbacks per week being started, let alone any injuries or buys that happen. And keep in mind, the NFL only has 32 teams. Okay, so think about it in this light. Quarterbacks. There is 1 quarterback playing per week, and they're the starter. That's it, unless they get injured, right? For the running backs, at least 2 are going to see the field during the same game in the span of the same game. For wide receivers, sometimes 3 can be on the field at the same time. For running backs and wide receivers, these backups, these young players that you can target way down the draft board, they have a chance to take the starting job from the veterans. You can hit on guys lower on the depth chart. You can go to the waiver wire. You can pick up the next great, Kyron Williams, the next great, Isaac Corrindo, Jordan Mason of last year. But you just don't do that with backup quarterbacks. Did anyone get excited last year, when DTR was starting for the Cleveland Browns? No, it is extremely rare that you hit on some backup quarterback that's going to take over from a starter. Typically, if the starter goes down, you're not going to want to start the backup for the quarterback anyway, so the waiver wire isn't helpful. It's so hard to find starting quarterbacks. All right, last point we're going to talk about here. Let's talk about the tight ends. We are not prioritizing tight ends. They are the least important position to prioritize. Let's look at a basic SuperFlex Start 9 league. And by the way, if your league is bigger than this, Start 10, Start 11, tight ends become even less valuable the more you go on. But a basic Start 9 SuperFlex league. If you look at your weekly points for your lineup, tight ends only contribute to about 11% of your weekly fantasy points, significantly less than any other position. So of course, everybody wants Brock Bowers. Everybody wants Trey McBride. It would be awesome to have them on your team. But from a team building perspective, it's just not realistic to pay their ADP. So that's why in our strategy, you can see again, remember round 10, we're doing upside swings and late round tight ends. We want to hit on a late round tight end this year in our SuperFlex leagues. Here are some options I would consider late round guys. In tier 5, you've got names like the Njokus of the world, the Tucker Crafts, the Tyler Warrens, the Colson Lovelands. We see rookie tight ends keep breaking out each and every year. They're becoming more important to offenses earlier on. Tyler Warren, Colson Lovelands, some of my favorite guys to target in SuperFlex leagues. But you can go even further, and you can take multiple shots, at some of these other names. Like get Zach Ertz as a safety valve and bet on Dalton Kincaid to break out, or a Brenton Strange, Isaiah Likely taking over that room over there. Jake Ferguson revival, or bet on some of these rookies, as a second tight end if you don't go one early, like Taylor, Mason Taylor, Elijah Arroyo, Terrence Ferguson, the Jonnu Smiths, the Hunter Henrys, right? Remember, this position is only contributing to about 11% of your weekly points, and it's less if you're in a deeper format. So again, to recap, the double quarterback plus BPA smash, we're going to see it in action in a second. But in the first 4 rounds, get 2 quarterbacks. Don't force it. Let it come to you. Every league is different. Some people are going to force quarterbacks early in your leagues. Some people are going to let them fall and go for, the running backs and wide receivers. But in the first 4 rounds, get 2 quarterbacks and get 2 BPAs at running back or wide receiver. And then rounds 5 to 9, build those rooms up, running back, wide receiver, upside swings from round 10 onwards, and get a late round tight end. Let's see it in action. And let's start off with the early first round. All right, so in the early first round here, you can see we got Jaden Daniels at the 104. It's going to be hard if you have an early pick to pass up on some of these elite quarterbacks that can average over 22, 6-point passing touchdowns, sometimes 23, 24 points per game. It's going to be really difficult not to just bank those points early on. Your Jacksons, your Allens, your Daniels. It's going to be difficult not to take those guys. You don't have to, but you can see in the first 4 rounds, we have Jaden Daniels, we have Brock Purdy. Okay, so maybe Brock Purdy's not going to be available in the 4th round in your league. Fine. But if it's not Brock Purdy, take a Jordan Love in the 4th round. Take a Jared Goff in the 4th round. Take a Justin Fields, a Dak Prescott, a Drake May. Some of these guys are going to be available. People are going to have to make the decision between the elite wide receivers and running backs, and not every league is going to force these quarterbacks up. It's a little bit fluid, but that's why I'm giving you the flexibility through the first 4 rounds. Grab 2 quarterbacks that you can trust. And you can see in rounds 2 and 3, we felt like the best player available was a wide receiver in Brian Thomas and a running back in Bucky Irving. Then from rounds 5 to 9, we just built out those other rooms. We got Ken Walker, we've got DK, Jameson, Ridley, Pearsall. And then from rounds 10 onwards, we're taking upside swings on the Masons, the Bigsbys. We've got a Geno Smith as a safety blanket. And then we took 2 shots on upside names that we like in Brenton Strange and Mason Taylor. Beautiful. I love it. You might not, but I think this is the strategy to pursue in 2025. We're going to look at the middle of the board, but just before I do, I know you guys are watching videos constantly nowadays on YouTube and people are trying to sell things to you, but I'm being honest, like from the bottom of my heart, the 2025 season pass on the Flock site is objectively just the best deal the fantasy industry has ever seen. It is $34 when you use the promo code LAND, LAND, that's my promo code, you're supporting me, and it's about $1.60 per week for the rest of the season. And with that $34 payment, I mean, you get access to the following: season-long rankings, my rankings, expert consensus rankings, rest of season, in-season weekly rankings, all the premium tools on the Flock Fantasy site, my draft guide, all the draft guides on the Flock Fantasy site, access to be a part of leagues with our community. Every week on a live stream, we're raffling off spots. You can be a part of those leagues. You get access to 4 vouchers where you can come on my live streams and ask me questions. I'll be helping you throughout the season with some of those vouchers that you get to come ask me questions if you have, anything you're uncertain about. But man, it is the best deal in the industry by far. We're going to have some details about SuperFlex drafts in the next version of my draft guide as well. So you can't beat $34 for the entire season. That's $1.60 per week. And of course, you're supporting me. Use the promo code LAND. All right, let's look at the middle of the board. So either the 6 or the 7 spot, whatever. In this spot, I decided to pass on an early quarterback because the Jalen Hurts weren't available. You could have justified Joe Burrow, but I wanted to play this out for you. What happens if I don't go quarterback early? So we don't go quarterback early. We go Jefferson at the 107, Achane at the 26. We could have taken a Bo Nix here. I would have rationalized that, a Patrick Mahomes here, but I felt good about the way the board was falling. Now, in your leagues, people could be forcing quarterbacks up. You need to stay fluid. You need to stay water. In every single draft, you have to be staying water and allowing the draft to come to you. But that's why we're giving the flexibility in this draft, right? But then in rounds 3, we grabbed Baker Mayfield. In rounds 4, we grabbed Dak Prescott. Guys, maybe Baker Mayfield isn't available in your league. Grab Kyler Murray with your first quarterback. Grab Justin Herbert. And then in your second quarterback again is Brock Purdy there, is Jared Goff, Justin Fields, Jordan Love, Drake May. If these guys are available, you can fit them in there if you're going to go, wide receiver, running back to start your draft. Now, then from rounds 5 onwards, 5 to 9, again, we're building out our wide receiver and our running back room with Tyreek Hill, Ken Walker, Caleb Johnson, Calvin Ridley, Deebo Samuel. Then from round 10 onwards, we're hitting on upside. We're going the Igbukas, the rookies. We're going the Benson, the year 2 breakout, the Bigsbys, the Brenton Strange, and we're taking, quarterback at the end of our draft. Now, Aaron Rodgers might not go this late in your drafts. Some of these quarterbacks might go earlier. They might go late in your draft. There's no size fits all for SuperFlex, but this is the overall best guide I have found for SuperFlex this year. All right, let's look at the back end of the board. I said, what would happen, Zach, if you started double quarterback to start your draft? Okay, so in this scenario, Joe Burrow fell to me at the 110. People are going to have a tough time passing on the Saquons, the Gibbs, the CeeDee Lambs, the Genties, the Neighbors. They're going to have a tough time doing that. So we went Burrow at the 110, Bo Nix at the 203. When you start your draft this way, yes, you're missing out on an elite quarterback, an elite wide receiver, but you are kind of guaranteeing yourself a safe floor each and every week of 2 guys that you think can put 40 points up on the board for you with Joe Burrow and Bo Nix, right? Now, in rounds 3 and 4, we then went our BPAs of Bucky Irving and Jackson Smith and Jigba. Then from rounds 5 to 9, again, we're filling out our wide receiver and our running back rooms. We hit on Tyreek, Adams, Caleb Johnson, DeAndre Swift, Matthew Golden. From round 10 onwards, again, we're trying to hit on those late round tight ends like Jake Ferguson, Brenton Strange. So we're trying to build a complete team, but make sure that we are prioritizing quarterbacks in a way that allows us not to panic later on in our draft. So I've tried to play out every different type of scenario. And this last one, I tried to play out the scenario where like quarterbacks are going earlier in your drafts than they are in the previous, ones that we've shown. But I believe at any point of the draft board, you can pull off this strategy. It is 100,000% possible to pull off this strategy at any point of the draft board. I want to quickly say, we're going to move on in a second, but I want to quickly say, it should be automatic in any strategy video you watch, but there are always caveats. And the caveat I want to say here is not every draft is going to go the same way. All right, your draft isn't going to go like my mock drafts, but follow the strategy as much as you can. Don't force a strategy just to force it. Never force a player just because, I need to fill this position. Look, if everyone's going so hard on quarterbacks that it just doesn't make sense to take them with your first 3 picks. You know, grab a Jefferson if a Gibbs is there as well, and then you can add an AJ Brown. Be fluid. Stay water in your drafts. Don't force anything, but use this strategy as a guide. So look, unfortunately, FastDraft doesn't have like a SuperFlex format just yet. But if you're out there and you love drafting and you're not just only team SuperFlex, but you like it in 1 quarterback best ball tournaments as well, I'm drafting my best ball tournaments over on FastDraft. Here's my latest draft. We got Josh Allen in round 2. Of course, 1 quarterback league, but we saw the value in him there. And it is a 10-team format. This is the Rabbit tournament, okay? $20 is what the entry used to be. Now it's $10. I'd love for you to come draft with me. Use the promo code LAND. Download the app. We'll get your deposit matched up to $50. Then you can get my cheat sheet for free. You can see my quarterback rankings for free. And you got a chance to win some money in a best ball tournament. DM me if you do sign up. I'd love to add you to my group chat where we draft together. You know, best ball is not meant to replace your home leagues, guys. It's, you know, you're not like deciding between, do I play best ball this year or do I play with my friends? No, it's both. It's not, or it's, you do both together. They work seamlessly together, right? Best ball allows you to practice drafts. It lets you to have fun and you get to win money. You get to practice, but there's no commitment in season. You let it ride beyond that. But I appreciate y'all watching the video. What do you guys think about the SuperFlex strategy? I want to know your thoughts. I want to hear you. I want to know your opinions. It's not a very popular format at this point. So it is a lot of, new research coming out. It's a lot of, yearly, the format is growing and growing and growing. I'll be honest with you. If you're watching this, I expect this video to flop. Like I've even told my editor this. We've talked about this. I think this video will flop. I just don't think there's that many SuperFlex people out there, but I'd love for you guys to prove me wrong. So let's see if SuperFlex, the revolution is happening here in 2025. I appreciate you. Subscribe if you found any value in today's video. Like the video, of course, if you found any value as well. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Nothing but love. I appreciate you. Draft with me every night this offseason on the FastDraft app, where there are over $250,000 in prizes waiting to be won. Getting started is easy. Download the FastDraft app, use the promo code LAND at signup to get your deposit match up to $50. That is 10 free drafts on us. And when you finish your first real money contest, I'll send you my 2025 rookie report and season rankings completely free. Check out the link in the pinned comment to start drafting today.